Good morning, everybody. If you're from Montreal, right now, it is 9 in the morning, Saturday morning. We're bright and early up. I've had a coffee, a big glass of water, and I have a guest with me today. His name is George Martin. He is otherwise known as Carnism Debunked. George, say hi.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you.
All right. So, George, where are you from in the world?
So I'm from the southeast of England. I'm from just outside London, and I'm currently living in Bristol, which is in the west of England.
Okay. And what kind of an animal rights activist are you? Are you one of these wimpy people who never speaks out? Or are you one of these people who just rolls up your sleeves and gives it the truth? Tell it like it is. What kind of an activist are you, George?
Yeah, I like to tell it like it is, but I believe in nuance as well. So there are certain, I think different strokes for different folks, and there's certain situations where you might say something a bit differently. And yeah, so I think each situation is different, but I like to not sugarcoat stuff generally.
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, it's totally different if you're talking to a 12-year-old versus who's just kind of learning what's going on. You're going to be a lot more, timid and careful versus somebody who should know better, who's been vegetarian for 20 years and is just like, whoop, not getting the whole message, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, we have 93 people here with us. Good morning, and thank you for being here. We really appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down. And if you want to make sure that it gets seen, there's a super chat feature. You can press some button. I don't know where it is, but it's down there somewhere. We have 109 people. We are here. I'm in Montreal. George is in England. And just before coming on, I was realizing I did not know something about George. I missed something completely. There are animal rights activists all around the world. It's impossible to keep track of all of the gossip and the things that are going on. But for those of you who are just joining us, we're going to be talking right away about Anonymous for the Voiceless, which is a group of people who are animal rights activists. George, why don't you start by first telling everybody, what is Anonymous for the Voiceless?
So Anonymous for the Voiceless is one of the street outreach groups who are out there. So they were founded in Australia in 2016. And yeah, they've been going strong since then. So they're the ones who stand on the streets with the masks and stuff.
Okay, so yeah, they wear all black. They stand with a white mask in order to basically stop you from looking at the activist's face and focus on the camera. And they're holding screens. And I've, of course, taken part in many Cube of Truths in different cities and so on. And I think it's a great thing. They're out there showing what's going on, and the images are really difficult to look at, but and I think they do good work. But recently, or like a year ago, something happened. Do you want to explain what happened with AV, Anonymous for the Voiceless? And we're going to try to use terms assuming that people know nothing about it, because although there are some vegans watching, there are also people who have no idea what we're talking about. So why don't you talk about the incident that happened and what was the controversy?
So it's a bit of a long story, so I can't go into the full details and blah, blah, blah. I've done a video about it. If anyone wants to check that out, it's on my YouTube. It's called Is AV Politically Neutral? Response to the Director's live stream. That's on my Carnism Debunked channel. But to cut a long story short, and Miss Katie didn't know about this, which is why we were just talking about this before the stream. I was working for AV. I was the head of the social media team, but myself and my colleague got fired from it because of basically human political stuff being brought into the organization, which is one of the things that I believe is wrecking the animal rights movement right now. The idea that human politics should play a role in animal rights and the organizations.
Mm-hmm. So what you mean by that is what? Like, what do you mean by human politics for people who are just watching? Give an example of where human politics gets in the way of helping the animals. We get all cluttered and flustered and arguing among each other instead of focusing on the animals. Give an example.
I'll give you an example, actually, via someone that you did a video on recently. So you did a video on marking Gary Francione speaking, didn't you, on his stuff? Now, Gary Francione, he has some good points about animal liberation and the abolitionist messages and stuff. So some of the stuff I don't so much agree with. Some of the stuff, like he thinks everything is welfarist and blah blah blah. But the key problem I have with Gary Francione's message is that he thinks that veganism is this sort of radical left movement and should only be inclusive of certain political groups, and that will see the animal rights movement just be as small, as tiny as possible. Because if you have a movement just based of very specific people with very specific political views, how will we ever achieve animal liberation ever? You're talking about less than 1% of the world who share his views on things.
Okay, so listen, you're going into a whole other subject of Gary Francione, and I do want to get into that later, but we already started off talking about AV, Anonymous for the Voiceless, the people who wear the white mask and the black shirts. So how does that relate to what we're talking about?
Okay, so yeah, I think AV became a semi-intersectional organization recently, essentially, in that it polices the political views of its staff. Because so last year, we did that controversial pig's head post. Some of you may have seen. So I think we did a meme, and it said it was of a Black Lives Matter protester holding up a severed pig's head.
Okay, let's go back. This is after George Floyd died, right?
Yeah.
So George Floyd, who people, sometimes you get 13-year-olds who just come in and they don't know what anything's going on, right? So we're going to really bring it down to basics. So George Floyd died. He was murdered in the United States by a police officer. And after that, riots took place in the streets. People started protesting. And for those of you who don't know, sometimes people use the word pigs to describe police officers. So they say, the pigs are here. Now, of course, that's speciesist language from our point of view, but a Black man was carrying around a true, real, dead pig's head above him. And basically trying to give the message that the police are horrible people, but instead of having a sign that said, police are horrible people, which, by the way, I don't believe, but anyway, police are horrible, well, at least not all of them, police are horrible people. This guy decided to use a pig's head, which of course set off all the alarms for anybody who's an animal rights activist. And for me too, it was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I can support you up to a point. So tell us now what happened.
Yeah, and that was just a symbol of pure hatred, that he was using a pig, an animal, as a representation of his hatred, basically, and it symbolizes hatred for animals as well, that we use terms such as pigs. And so the meme said something like, hypocrisy is protesting about rights violations while violating the rights of others. And we got a lot of heat for it. And intersectionals were scouring. So intersectionals are people who believe, for anyone who doesn't know, who believe that veganism is a far left human rights movement. They were scouring our comment sections and stuff.
And when you say our comment section, it's because you were working for AV, Anonymous for the Voiceless. So you were like a paid staff member and you were helping to do their outreach. And that's when the conflict started.
Yes. And they screenshotted this comment by me where I was being politically neutral, which was meant to be the purpose of AV. It was meant to be one of the the only politically neutral animal rights organizations out there. And I think someone wrote a comment just saying, because all the intersectionals were bombarding all the animal rights pages saying, why aren't you speaking up about this issue? It was very America-centric, right? You think of all these issues going on in the world. There's the Uyghur Muslims been rounded up in China, and the war in the Central African Republic, Boko Haram in Nigeria. There's so much stuff going on. But everyone was saying, why aren't you speaking about this one thing that happened in Minnesota? Messaging pages all over the world.
Yeah. So they wanted animal rights activists to speak out on behalf of Black Lives Matter. And animal rights activists were saying, well, that's not what we do.
Exactly.
Like, there's wars going on everywhere. People are being murdered everywhere. There's women who are being abused. There are children. There's torture going on. There's all kinds of different things. And animal rights activists some of them were saying, well, we should speak out anyway on this thing. And real animal rights activists who have their eye on the prize, animal liberation, were saying, you know what? I've got my hands full here. I am speaking on behalf of the voiceless who are right now lining up to go into gas chambers. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have time to speak out on behalf of all this other issue. Although I care about it, my focus is the animals. Because look, there are millions of other people speaking and saying George Floyd shouldn't have died, and the police shouldn't be putting their knees on people's necks. And that's how I felt. I mean, to a degree. I did do a song where I included George Floyd and what happened to him, because I think that what happened is terrible. Don't get me wrong. I think racism is awful, and I think homophobia is awful. But at the same time, there's still members of the LGBTQ that are having their rights violated at the same time, right? But we have to keep focus on it. At least if you consider yourself to be, an animal rights organization, you should keep your eye on the prize. Humans by themselves can divide their time up evenly or whatever way they want, individuals, right? So I agree with you that AV, which is anonymous for the voiceless, but the voiceless in this case is really the animals, should keep their eye on animal liberation. I agree with you. So what happened?
And then, and then someone wrote a comment in the comments section, again, demanding that we speak up about this issue, which we shouldn't have at all. Our focus is solely on non-human animals, not their oppressors. And someone wrote a comment like, come on, AV, it's not taking a political stance just to condemn the systemic oppression going on in the US. So I just replied, being politically neutral, and said, yes, it is taking a stance because many people believe that there is no systemic oppression in the US and that there's media bias over this. So don't get us to take a side, because there's a culture war, right, going on in the West. There's tend to be those on the left who tend to say that, there's lots of groups being oppressed and stuff in Western countries. And then more conservative leaning or centrist people might say that, no, we live in a meritocracy and we're all individuals and we get what we get out of how hard we work and that kind of thing, and no one is systemically oppressed anymore. Everyone has equal rights. And Paul and Asal, basically, who are the directors of AV, they took huge issue with that comment that I made and said that was showing political bias, even though it wasn't. That was politically neutral. And then Asal did like an apology video saying something like, we're sorry for this comment, we do believe in systemic oppression in the West and blah blah blah.
Okay, so I do remember that. I remember her making that apology, and I had no idea that it was that she was apologizing because of something that you did, George. I just thought it was them, or I don't know, some random staff member, not actually.
I was the random staff member.
Not actually George Martin. No, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
you were fired over it.
Me and a colleague were fired over a colleague who agreed with me that the only oppressed group in the West are non-human animals. So me and my colleague Gemma, those are our beliefs. Not that was the comment I put. I didn't say that's what we believe. I just said many people believe. So don't get us to pick a side.
Yeah.
We were fired basically over that. It's just disgraceful, to be honest. And as I say,
George, when you look back, right, is there a way that you could have said something like, it really sucks what's happening in the US.
No.
People shouldn't be racist or whatever. I know, just make some quick and then move on. No, because
there was no, but we did make comments such as we condemn racism, but there was no evidence whatsoever that incident was racially motivated. We have no idea to this day whether race played any motivation in it. In fact, one of the officers there at the scene, Kung, is black. So what is even the evidence that it was racist? So no, we're not going. Some people think it is. Some people think it wasn't. So again, we shouldn't pick a side. But Paul and Asal, I guess, were more to that left-leaning side and thought AV should, which violates their political neutrality.
Right. I would love to talk to them. What do you think that they would say?
Well, I know what they said because they were asked about it on a live stream with David Rams. So, they're still confident they did the right thing, or maybe they're not confident they did the right thing and they realize it was silly. I don't know, but I did a video response anyway.
There was a comment on the screen that said that in New Jersey the chapter was closed down. I don't know if you saw that. It's gone now, but it said which is it's unfortunate.
Oh yeah, so intersectionals have always been anti-AV, and they've worked to try and destroy the organization, as they do with any organization that claims to be apolitical.
Wait. What? Why? What do you base that on? What do you mean they're trying to destroy the organization? Why? That doesn't make sense, George.
Why doesn't it make sense?
What do you mean? Why? Okay, you're saying that they're vegan and they're intersectionals, okay? But why would they try to destroy AV? AV was just a bunch of people standing there with signs showing animal abuse. What's to destroy? Why would they want to destroy that?
Because it doesn't include, or supposedly doesn't include, human rights activism in its mantra. So to them, they're an oppressive organization. So intersectionals will try and take down any organization that doesn't speak on human rights issues, isn't pro BLM, doesn't have a side on the abortion debate. Even Save movement now, they won't allow people who are pro-life to protest with them. if someone is pro-life, you're not allowed to go to certain save vigils. This is how much it's infecting the movement. And yeah, they've fired people over political stuff. It's the cancer of the movement, bringing human issues into animal rights. We should all be united standing there for the animals, regardless of our political beliefs.
Right. You see, I have a lot of other beliefs as well. For example, I am fighting all the time against circumcision, which is done around the world for boys. I know it's not done really in England as a default, but it's done, and it's terrible and it's barbaric, and I speak out against that. But that has nothing to do with me as an animal rights activist. That's just me, Katie, who cares about that issue. I also fight for men's rights because I also think that men are don't have it as good as everybody thinks that they do.
Right. But
I also fight for women's rights because, I just see them, all of these things, and children's rights and disabled people. And I fight for dark-skinned people, and I fight for the LGBTQ. But these are, to me, all separate things. And I think that if you have an organization, so look, George, why don't you start a new organization? If you could, right? What would you do differently? Let's say you like the idea of what AV does. Mm-hmm. There used to be one, I don't know, it's not around anymore, called the Earthlings movement, or what was it?
Earthlings, yeah. So Earthlings Experience isn't a centralized organization as such. It's more of a movement. So anyone can represent Earthling. It works in the same way as Animal Liberation Front. It doesn't have like a centralization. So anyone can take to the street with the masks that they use and stuff and just show the footage. It doesn't have like an official kind of centralized structure, whereas AV is an actual organization, so it has paid staff and everything is centralized, so it everything comes from sort of the top down, that kind of thing. And then to answer your question though, that We the Free is a new outreach organization that's just been set up. We the Free, so that's...
Wait, when you say just set up, wasn't that around already for a little while? I feel like I've seen that. No?
No, it's... Okay. It's pretty new. I think there's...
So what do they do? What do they look like? Did they stand there with their mask on as well?
So We the Free is... so they don't have a mask. They wear like a sort of bandana over their mouth saying WTF. And then, it has official merchandise as well saying WTF. And signs and stuff, but I'll be doing activism with them when that's up and going again back in Bristol. So there's currently two chapters in the UK, Leeds and Bristol. But yeah, they've only been around for a short while. It's only just been set up, really.
Okay, We the Free. Okay, so they're holding the sign. They're doing like a cube of truth type things as well.
Yep.
Like, look, for years I've been talking about what I think is wrong with the cube of truth. I have some things that I would like to add, so I might as well say them now.
Yeah, cool. It'd be interesting to hear.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say, in general, I think it's great. I think it's great because it's somewhere that new activists can go and find friends. And that's so important to keep people motivated, and it gives them something to do. It's a great way to start to do activism because you can just stand there and hold a laptop. Like, how easy is that? We can wear a mask. Nobody knows who you are. You don't have to say anything if you don't know the answers to things. So it's a wonderful introduction. And then you all go out for coffee after or whatever, now before COVID. And so in that regard, I think Anonymous for the Voiceless is great. And I encourage people to keep going there. I really do, because it's a great thing that's already in place. Some of the problems that I had with them. Okay, well, first of all, for me personally, I just didn't like the mask that was chosen. I find that choosing a male mask with a creepy sort of smile and mustache just took away from it. I know the history of Guy Fawkes and all of this stuff, and that was there saying, well, there's a history. I said, but the average person walking by doesn't know anything about it. They just know the movie Anonymous, whatever it was called. What was the movie?
V for Vendetta.
Yeah, V for Vendetta. So okay. So I did a lot of hidden research. I did a lot of market research on my own when I would see a cube of truth. And this is what I saw. We were doing a cube of truth inside a metro station, a subway in Montreal, or on the street somewhere. Okay. So I'm just doing what everyone told me to do. You stand there with your cube, with your laptop. Well, we were at one point, I was on the side and I was literally facing a wall. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, we just in order for the traffic to come, it's literally facing like nobody could possibly walk or would because it's just awkward to go. I mean, if they really wanted to, they could. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm a full-time teacher. I'm a registered nurse. Like, my time is valuable. If I'm going to stand here and hold a laptop, I better freaking feel like somebody's looking at the screen. I'm like, no, you have to stand in that exact spot. I'm like, look, doesn't make any sense. Let's spread out into a line. But we're a cube of truth. I said, who fucking cares? You need to be a line. You need to be a line of truth now because I don't want to have, my back to people.
Yeah. So with that example, I don't think that's the fault of AV specifically, but that the demo organizer should have simply picked a better spot where you have, because the way the cube works is that you have people approaching from all sides. It doesn't work like a line, and it's a focal. It makes it quite special in the way it's meant to look very like a spectacle.
Yeah. Exactly. But then I said, they're saying, well, we can't move over because we'll block traffic. I said, well, and they're like, that's the rule. We have to follow the rule. I'm like, look, rules are made for the masses to follow and for intelligent people to use as guidelines. So we are intelligent people here. So what we're going to do is we're going to spread out into a line. And they're like, no. So I'm like, okay, well, this is ridiculous. I don't want to stand here and waste my time. So that was one thing. And like I said, the mask also, I found that when people walked by, and I would go far away and I would say I pretend I wasn't with the group. I was wearing a jacket over my thing. And I said, hey, what's going on down there? What is that? And they're like, well, I don't know, some movie promo or something. I don't know. I think it's like a bunch of actors. Like they did not even know what it was.
Can I respond to that though? I think that's good. I like that the people don't know what it was and it draws curiosity and they say, oh, what's this? And that makes them come up and see the screen.
Bullshit.
because then otherwise
they'd already passed. George, listen, they'd already gone by. They were not coming back. Do you understand?
Yeah.
AV missed an important chat. I understand what you're saying, that it's sort of mysterious, right? But it doesn't make sense. Look, okay? Here's the little cube, right? Here's people coming along. They walk right by. They're like, they don't even, they're talking or they're on their phone, but they don't even, or there's this kind of glance. And then they're over here. All right. And I'm asking them over there, hey, what's going on back there? And they're just like, I don't know. That's it. You lost them. You didn't even get a chance to, they don't even know it's about animals or animal rights. So that is, to me, a huge flaw.
But you'll get even fewer people if they know that it's about animal rights. People will just go, oh, fuck, it's a load of vegans. Let's just walk straight past. The idea is that it keeps curiosity.
No. So what you do, is what I suggested, and this is what I did.
Go on.
I'm a garbage picker, okay? So I pick crap out of the garbage all the time because I think it's, shouldn't go in a landfill. So I got a huge piece of wood that somebody was just throwing out at a construction site, right? And I wrote on there, I painted it black, and in white letters, I wrote, Google Cube of Truth, okay? And I brought that to the event. And what I did is I said, what we should have is we should have these signs off in the distance. Now, just picture far away from the cube enough that it's not really right next to it, but you're walking along and you just glance up and you see a big sign that says Google Cube of Truth. Whatever that is. And you could have a mask hanging on it. Okay. So it's like a first click. You understand, George?
But they hold signs saying truth and then cubeoftruth.com below. So that's covered.
Yeah, but just listen. But my point is that when you're approaching it, if you see a big sign and you see one after, it's like when you give a speech, right? You're supposed to say what you're going to say. You're supposed to say it, and you're supposed to tell them that you said it. These are the three components of a speech. So if you've got your speech in the middle, your main part, and people miss it, at least as they're walking towards the cube, they see a big sign that says Google Cube of Truth. And that's like, okay, what's that all about? Whatever. And all of a sudden, oh, here's something black and white. I just saw something black and white. What is this? Let me check it out. Oh, there's the word truth again. Right. So anyway, I interviewed a ton of people and realized that people were missing out huge amounts of people, huge opportunity with the Cube of Truth because they were sticking to their, little way of doing it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with putting these signs there. And what happened was I ended up standing beside the Cube of Truth sign off in the distance just by myself. And people were stopping and talking just to me anyway, before even getting to the cube. They're like, what do you mean Google cube of truth? Or if it was outside on the street, people would drive by with their cars and they would just be Google cube of truth. They'd see me standing there with the mask and just standing beside it. And they would take pictures and then you could see them. They're on their phones going to Google it. So there's just a lot of ways that I think that could be more effective. That's my speech.
All right. Well, the thing is, because there are, if AV isn't for you, there's other things you can do. And that's the good thing. There are different outreach groups and styles and stuff out there. But the good thing about AV is, they do just say, like, this is the way we do things. If you don't like the way we do things, that's fine. You're welcome to volunteer just for another group.
But that's why I'm saying that there's a lot of good things about AV. I think it's a great organization. I think people should go. They should participate. They should go to Cube of Truth. I'm saying that there is room for improvement and they should do their own research for that. For example, like I said, standing off away from the crowd and interviewing people who went by and just try and interview how many people knew what the hell that was going on over there. And if you interview 100 people and only one person knows that that was about the animals, something is seriously wrong. Because
but they speak to hundreds of people, like, per demonstration.
It's irrelevant. So. It's not enough. You could speak to thousands. Remember, George, it takes 100 clicks to become vegan. And if you miss even one click, you missed a huge opportunity. Talking one-to-one sounds great. It's great for the ego. And that is why I say people should go, because it makes people feel good and they have friends there. But it is nowhere near as effective as you, for example, on TikTok, giving one of your speeches there, a 30-second speech. That's a click right away that you can't ignore. Just like, oh my God, who's this guy?
The thing is with TikTok and stuff like that is, your videos can reach a lot of people, but I have no idea if anyone has changed from ever seeing one of my TikTok videos.
Of course they have.
I hope they have.
Again, I'm telling you, it is about 100 clicks, George. They see your video. It's not going to make them vegan. Of course not. This video here is not going to make somebody vegan if they haven't already thought about it. It's just going to piss people off if they're new. Like, who the hell are these people? But if I do a video and then they go to your Instagram after, and from your Instagram, they end up on Tash Peterson's Vegan Booties and so on. And it becomes like this. Then they start to get momentum. We have to start to support each other and we cannot be inefficient in our work. And so I'm actually disappointed to hear that you don't understand that my ideas are good. The mask thing, although it's good, the whole fact that it's a weird, creepy man with a mustache, it's just, what does that have to do with anything? It's just weird. It's like, I hate masks. So
I can answer that as well, because obviously from all my experience with AV, I know why they use that mask. So it represents speaking out against injustice. And again, it's part of that aesthetic. Say what you want about AV, but those cubes they do are a spectacle and they draw people in. They go, wow, what's all those people standing there with a mask? And people come up and see the footage.
Okay. I don't think you're listening to me. I like the mask. I'm saying that it should be I do. I just said that. I like the mask. I don't like the fact that it is a creepy man's mask that's related to a movie that has nothing to do with it.
But it does have something to do with it, is my point.
I know what you're saying, that it has to do with Guy Fawkes. Okay, I get that. But people related to V for Vendetta, and there's zero involved with animals there. People are not going to be like, oh, I'm going to compute this. They barely even know what's going on because they're walking by. Once you're in it, you're like, oh, yeah, this is very smart. We're so smart for choosing this symbol. But before that, you have no idea. And people get all mixed up. So that's what I'm thinking about that. I think it should be a neutral mask. It should be white. Fine. It should be neutral. No facial expression. No mustache. What is it with the pink rouge on the cheeks? It's bizarre. No good.
Well, they rubbed. I forgot the reason why, but for some reason now they actually removed the little rosy cheeks. But
now they can remove the mustache and they can get rid of the creepy smile too. And then
but then you could just argue the other way and say, well, now the mask isn't recognizable because maybe they like the fact that it's the Guy Fawkes mask and people think that's an instantly recognizable, cool mask that a lot of people like, and they go up.
No.
In your opinion, no, but many people do come up because of it.
No, it's not instantly recognizable. I invite you now to go ahead and do a survey of 113-year-olds or any 100 people even, and show them the mask and say, what does this make you think of? If anything, they'll say, I don't know, or they'll say, V for vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
They'll never associate it with animals at all.
But it's not meant to be associated with animals. That's the point. It's meant to pique curiosity, and it's meant to
It
just
creeps
be.
me out. I look at it and I get creeped out. I'm not going to walk up to some person who's wearing this mask that has a weird smirk on it.
But then what mask would you have that wouldn't
neutral,
creep you out?
The Earthlings one.
But why doesn't that creep you out? The Earthlings one is scarier. It's like the Halloween type Jason mask, right?
No, it doesn't. No, it's not. You're thinking of the no, I'm talking about just something to cover the face that is neutral so that you focus on the sign. That's it. It could even be like, I don't know what you're talking about with We the Free. You said that they cover something. They have this that says what WTF with. I think it's hilarious that it also means what the fuck.
Yeah,
right?
So that's part of the thing. Yeah, and it's just a bandana and they put it over their mouths. But the thing is with We the Free, each demo could be different from the last because the way We the Free works is it's more open to change via what the volunteers say and stuff. So it doesn't really have like a sort of top-down sort of structure with rules and stuff. It's more go demo by demo and see what works and adapt to that via what the volunteers think. So it works in a different way to AV. So there's different styles out there for everyone. And that's the good thing. You know, we've got...
So the other thing I want to say that happened was when they were doing a Cube of Truth and it started to rain, everybody just ran home. And we were right beside a shopping center, you know, a mall. And they're like, well, we can't go in the mall. We don't have a permission. And I'm like, fuck permission. You are allowed to physically walk through a mall holding a TV. People buy TVs in malls. You're allowed to hold a laptop and you're allowed to walk. So I said what it should be called, to me, the next evolution should be called a line of truth. And here's what I would do. It should be, because a line, you walk in a line, you can stop anywhere you want. You can be in a cube, which is a great idea, right? When there's a huge crowd, it does attract attention. I agree. It should be a cube. It should also be able to go into a line. You should be able to walk and pause. Also, it's more interesting just for the people holding the stuff. I know that there's a lot of extra stuff when you're talking about the sound and all that, and that's something that could be debated. How do you bring the sound with you? Is it really necessary to have the music? I don't know. But, and so I would say gender neutral masks, something that can move so that rather than it starts raining, everybody runs away. You can go to another location. You can even stop in a mall and stand there.
Yeah.
Wait till the security guard comes, says, leave. Okay, let's leave. And then go to the next one. Stand in front of a coffee shop. Go move around, go places.
Yeah, depending on the chapter, they might do that. If it rains off, sometimes they'll like walk through a place just showing the screens and stuff. So it all depends. But for the actual demonstration itself, it is a static. It's meant to act like a static art installation almost on the street that people just come up and it's a focal thing, and that's how it works.
All right. Well, you want to read what's on the screen here, George?
Cool. If you want some reasons to be vegan, 1, it's great for the animals, it protects them. 2, it's great for the environment. 3, it's very healthy for you. Pin this on your screen so everyone sees Miss Katie. Yeah, indeed. However, I would just say about that, the only real reason out of those 3 that we should be vegan is just point 1 round a BLM. So yes, it does benefit the environment, and it can be good for you if you eat a whole foods plant-based diet. There's a lot of vegan junk food out there, let's face it. But ultimately, the only reason that's needed for people to go vegan is that it's an injustice towards animals. Because, we wouldn't say about a human injustice, we wouldn't say stop harming this group of humans because it's better for your health. We would always focus on the victims. We would always say stop oppressing this group of people because it's wrong. It's morally wrong to victimize someone. And that's how we should look at it from in the animal rights movement as well.
Mm-hmm. You want to read this one?
I'm still waiting for the Q&A like she stated in the title. Yeah, cool. Let's go through the comments.
Joe, ask you, instead of writing that, you could have written a question. What's your question? Ash. All right. I don't know. I'm just going to click, there's things going by. It's very hard to, I don't know what's a question. Sometimes people are just talking among each other. George, you want to read?
I think if you become vegan, then we could change the world forever. Yeah, for sure. And people underestimate the power that just a single person changing can make. A lot of people say one person changing won't make a difference. It does, because it has that ripple effect. Not only does it make a huge difference from those animals, those thousands of animals you spare from a life of abuse and suffering by going vegan just yourself, but just by being vegan and by other people knowing that you're vegan, that creates that ripple effect, and other people learn about veganism as a result of speaking to you, and we can work towards a better world just by one person changing. It does make a huge difference. I'm allergic to nuts. Don't eat them then, that's fine. Plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty of stuff.
You want to read this one?
Yeah, this is a nice comment. Everybody, Bella vegan dog is healthy and happy. She is as normal and healthy as any other dog. Pin this to the screen so everyone can see this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so for anyone who's not aware, Miss Katie has a beautiful vegan dog in her care, Bella. She looks extremely healthy, one of the healthiest dogs I've ever seen. She eats a fully plant-based diet, and you get a lot of trolls, don't you? I even saw, how sad and pathetic is this? I even saw someone had set up an account about Bella earlier saying, like, help me, I'm only being fed plants, I'm being abused by Miss Katie and this disgusting stuff. So that's how sad people are. And for anyone who's unaware of just the positive impacts of a plant-based diet for dogs, one of the world's oldest ever living dogs, Bramble, was a plant-based dog. I think she died when she was like 25. So there you go.
That's it, exactly. So veganism is about having a consistent approach to human rights and animal rights, ecology, and world food problems.
So this is, I know of Roger Yates. So thanks for your comment, Roger. But yeah, the problem with this comment, Roger, is that what do you mean by that? Because, well, I know what Roger means by this. He means that when he says consistent approach to human rights, he basically means his highly contested political beliefs he thinks is part of veganism. But, if you ask someone with different political beliefs from him, they'll say the same thing. They'll be like, yeah, I'm consistent with my approach because I believe in so-and-so, but Roger doesn't. And this is the problem with introducing the human rights stuff into the movement. I'll give an example. So perhaps Roger is anti-gun or something. Maybe Roger is pro-gun control. Now, someone who is pro-gun and anti-gun control, they might say to Roger, that's a violation of my rights that you want to disarm me. And when the revolution comes and we need to take up arms, how are we going to do it if you're letting the government disarm us? So here's the thing. Everyone thinks that their own position is already consistent with veganism. And so no, Roger, veganism is just about non-human animals only. It should not include your human politics in this movement at all.
Right. And I remember AV had shirts that said animals, environment, and health. And I thought that they were taking away the environment and the health aspects and just making it about animals on their shirts. That's what I heard. That's why I was surprised to hear that when the whole situation happened with the black man holding the dead pig over his head, that they started to get talking about, other issues. So I don't know where they stand right now, but I guess they're still going on. But George, I wanted to just continue to ask you, if say a bunch of people approached you and said, George, you should start the next version of AV, what would you do differently? So I've already suggested some things and you didn't think my ideas were good. So what would you do?
So
I'm not joining your group. Fuck it. If you're wearing a creepy man's mask with a mustache, I'm out.
I quite like the idea of what We the Free do with just the bandana over the mouth, because I do think it's important that you have a static part of the demonstration who doesn't speak. They're just there to act as the static part, and then someone else can talk to them. I like that.
Yeah.
So I like having something that kind of represents that person is just sort of part of the art installation and doesn't speak, be it a mask or something over the mouth. So yeah, maybe the thing about the masks that you mentioned, I only agree with you slightly. Like I do see why AV used that mask and it does work, but at the same time, yes, it is good to have something that's a bit neutral or maybe something unique that's about that organization itself. So rather than have something, a Guy Fawkes mask or, a horror movie mask or whatever.
No, yeah, no. It shouldn't be a horror movie mask at all, I don't think. I'm totally against that. I really think it's just a neutral thing. And I like the idea of the bandana in a way. But to be honest with you, I think the face should be hidden for a few reasons. Again, like if you're covering your mouth, it's good. It's saying like, I'm not speaking. The screen is speaking. But if you're seeing the person's eyes, like, okay, what I really liked about wearing the mask and being behind there, is that I was not on. You know, when
Mhm.
you're in front of people, you always have to sit up straight and you always have to be on and have, you know, be ready to respond to how somebody looks at you when they look in your eyes. But when you're holding the mask, like, to be honest with you, I have stood behind with the mask on and I've been crying. I've been crying because the music actually really does hit me.
It's
And
powerful standing
I
there.
know what images are being shown on screen. So it's like I try to detach myself from it. But when you see people getting it, when you see people looking at the screen and being like, and then when you see parents kind of hide their kid,
so powerful.
or when you see other parents who take their teenager and go, look, this is what they're not teaching you in school. You know, like, there's so much going on. It's fascinating, and it can be rewarding. And I know some people who have gone and held the screens and done it for like several hours as a spiritual discipline, as a, you know what, I'm just here meditating. I'm just holding this and I'm just going to hold it as long as I can. It's kind of cool. You can do this activism without having to engage with people. And I like that.
Yeah, I just want to answer a comment there as well by Eva McVeigh, who says, couldn't they just use stands to hold up the screens? Or do you think it's better to have people holding them? So that'd be a good thing we can talk about. So there is an organization or a movement that's called Stands for Change. I know Joey Carbstrong is involved with it. I don't know if it's him who set it up or whether it's just something, that's the comment, or whether it's someone else who set it up and he's just very active with it. But they do just use a stand, so they don't have a person at all. They'll have just like a big screen TV on a stand. And yeah, I think that's good as well. But I guess the downside with that is, again, people can skirt past, like, but then, you know, the people who do want to skirt past, at least they're seeing that animal slaughter from right down the street, and it's harder for them to like miss. So there's pros and cons.
Yeah, and to be honest, if I saw things on a stand with no human, I personally would be more willing to approach, because I hate sales pitches. I see right through them. Like, I just like, get away from me. I just want to sit here and look at the video. There's a message here. I can, you know. So if there were four big screens on stands, and you could still have people around in case, you know, to try to approach people, you know, and of course, like, you know,
I think that might look more salesy though, because when you go through supermarkets, you do see that, don't you? You see TVs on the stands, and it's usually people trying to sell you TV or a package of some kind. Do you know what I'm saying?
We are trying to sell something.
Right.
We're trying to sell we're trying to sell the concept that animals should be slaughtered for no reason. I mean, look, you know, there's capitalism has these ideas of putting things on display and, you know, like shiny lights and, I don't know, attract attention. That is, you want people to come. So I'm just saying that's for me, that would work. And I have seen that. I think even it is somebody in Australia who did that with huge screens, like, you know, like just big TV screens that you can just, I mean, they're big enough to put into your car, but there were 4 of them, I think. And then it's like you can do it with less human bodies, right? You just need somebody with a big SUV to put these in, set them up with a big, I think, they had a big umbrella over them in case it rained to protect them. And, you know, a little table with maybe some information, and you only need a couple of people. Then you can do that quite well. Yeah,
100%. So yeah, there's so many different styles that we can do. That's the thing. And if something isn't for you, you know, you can always try it a different way or volunteer with another group, and it's good. But it would be good if even more outreach groups were out there, you know, so we'd have even a wider variety of choice.
Or do you think that they should spend more time on apps like TikTok and Instagram?
They should do both. Social media activism is very, very important, but street outreach, I found it so effective. Like, I've got a lot of experience with street outreach and with social media, and I can say they're both really worthwhile. They're both really worth the time.
But you have no way of measuring that, George. Like, don't get me wrong. Okay, well, I agree with you. First of all, I think that you should do both. But my reason is different. You see, I think that when you're protesting outside of Canada Goose about the fur or whatever, it's not about what's going on there. People do that because they're so angry and they need an outlet. They want to scream through a megaphone because they're so frustrated. And they need, humans need to feel like they're making a difference. And on social media, it's very hard to tell if you're making a difference because the amount of hate is unbelievable. And the amount of neutrality is also there. How many times people see things and they scroll on. But George, after a while, like I've had a lot of people tell me that they became vegan because of me. And, you know, again, I never take the credit because the truth is that I never think it's just about me, because before coming to me, they might have seen something that you did, or they might have seen a cup like this on a shelf that said cow's milk is for baby cows, or they might have come across a shirt like this, you know, somewhere, and they see these, all of these different clicks. So if they say I became vegan because of you, I think, well, I just happened to be the lucky one. You had a 99 clicks elsewhere and you just came to me and I'm the 100th, but I would never take the credit for all of that. I think we are a team, then all of it is important. But I think one of the biggest problems that happen is when people do street activism, they do not film themselves enough. And it's so crucial that every person on there is on TikTok and just filming, you know, just get somebody to talk. Why are you here? I'm here because I care about the animals and Canada Goose is a terrible company. 15 seconds, bam, up to TikTok. You know, posting 10, 20 times on TikTok, if everybody did that. And on Instagram and on Twitter, all of it.
Yeah, and you know, AV as an example is recording their street outreach, but they, you know, they'll give funding to certain chapters to help them get really good high quality recording equipment and mics and stuff to film their conversations and stuff. So you can see their outreach footage on the social media platforms, and we'll be doing similar stuff with We the Free as well in Bristol. So you'll see conversations of ours go up as well.
Okay, so let me ask you this though. Once you've filmed, let's say 20 or 30 high quality conversations, right?
Yeah.
Why continue? Just keep reposting the ones that work. That's it. The rest of the time, you should be doing short mini versions and posting them consistently all the time to say, look, we're live today in New York, or we're live today in Bristol. Come on down. Like I just feel like there's a lot of, like, people go, let's say, through a department store or a grocery store, right? And do a protest in front of a meat section, right? You must have seen this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my heart goes to them. Their hearts are really in the right place, but they miss the mark. You get 15 people going, you know, meat is murder. It's not food, it's violence. It's all great. I applaud it. But then you look around and who's filming? One guy's filming, and that's it. No fucking way should that happen. For every person standing there with a sign, they should be, even if they have to pay a family member to film them live, or just say to a friend, listen, please, can you just take my phone and film? It's not about ego, but it's about getting the message out there. If you have 15 people there, you should have minimum of 15 videos going out.
But you can share the one video though. Why would you need so many people to film when you can just have one and you can share that clip? Because
I'm talking about, you know, it depends what we're talking about here. Again, I'm talking about something like TikTok. We're talking about 15-second clips, okay? So let's say you're there and you're doing what I would like to see is something called the line of truth, which again, it's something where you're a movable group. Yes, you are wearing some sort of a uniform because that does look powerful. Maybe you have a mask on, but you're showing the screen or you're holding a sign or whatever. Yeah. And let's say you're doing that, right? So you say to me, hey, Katie, come and film me, right? So I film you. I'm like, okay, I'm going to film, and I'm going to film 15 seconds. Bam, it's up right away, instantly. We're here in Bristol, in the whatever your grocery store is, you know, come and join us. This is an important group. Boom, gone. And then again, you know, like, because you got to get it out there repeatedly, and it's 15 seconds so easy rather than doing one long video and let's edit it and let's get it up, or even just one live stream.
Miss Katie, there's a comment here I've just seen that I think we really need to answer from Hilbert, teaching assistant. Question: what would happen to all the animals if we stopped eating them? Could you put that up on the screen?
Let me see if I can see that. What, did we address this one already?
No, we didn't. Scroll up a little bit.
Do I do this one quick that's on the screen, and then we'll try and find the other one?
Oh, we've done. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we have done the one on the screen at the moment.
Okay, we did. Yeah.
So go to Hilbert's teaching assistant.
Oh my God. Just talk about it while I find it. Just address it anyway.
All right, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, to answer that question, the world going vegan would mean that we're no longer breeding these farmed animals. But in any case, when people ask this question, so there it is on the screen now, what would happen to all the animals if we stopped eating them? Why would they want to focus on that? Because the more important issue is what happens to all the animals if we don't stop eating them? And the answer is this: they're gassed, they're raped, they're abused, they have their bodies mutilated, they have their throats slit. So how is, why would anyone on Earth's concern be what would happen to them if we don't eat them, when all this disgusting evil shit is happening to them when we do eat them? That is the question that we should focus on.
I agree. And having worked as a nurse for 25 years and seen so much suffering, there is something worse than death. There is.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the incredible suffering that humans can go through when they are in a lot of pain and they don't have morphine and they're stuck in a hospital bed and they're isolated for a long time, don't have family members visiting, and they have maybe Alzheimer's or terminal cancer. I mean, this is terrible suffering. I personally believe that animals, when it comes to cats and dogs, are treated better than humans because we do give them an end of life dignity by euthanizing them when the animals, like a dog is like 14 years old and has cancer and can't walk. But humans, no, you got to stay in your bed and you got to suffer until your heart stops and you stop breathing. And I think that's wrong. And I think that when it comes to the animals, if you look at their lives where they have a lifetime of suffering on a factory farm, that's not a life. That is torture.
And they should never have been brought into existence in the first place, being brought into that hellish existence. And people, people say this argument. They say, isn't it better that they exist than they don't exist? No. It's how can it be better that you force a sentient being who suffers into a life of torture? If we wouldn't say that if it was human children and two abusive parents decided to just have a child for the sole purpose of locking them in a cage and torturing them every day, no one would go, but isn't it good that the child got life? So why do we do that with a chicken or a pig? It makes no sense.
Exactly. So this one says, eat at least 2 to 3 vegetables a day. Be vegan from now on. Well, that's what I always say. Be vegan from now on. So I like the name. But I got to argue with you with this one. 2 to 3 vegetables a day. I would have more. You should try to aim. But of course, then again, it depends on how much of these vegetables you're having. If you're having, a giant bowl of broccoli and you're having a giant bowl of spinach, okay. But I try to tell people that they should aim for 30 different vegan foods a day. Now that sounds like a lot, but a typical oatmeal for me has about 15 ingredients in it because I'm putting in there, the oats as a base, a small base. I'm also adding chia seeds. I'm adding flax seeds. I'm adding soy milk. We're up to 4 ingredients already. And I haven't even started with the mashed up banana and the mashed up dates and the blueberries and the sunflower seeds, hemp seeds.
All that good stuff. Yeah. That's a very healthy breakfast.
You can put a ton of things in there. And very nutritious. And don't forget that spices are also vegan. So you just add some cinnamon in there and that counts too.
Beautiful.
So go for it. Anyways, good comment. I know what you're trying to say. All right. Is there anything else here that we want to address? What is this? I don't know if this is good or not.
People shouldn't be euthanized against their will.
Well, no, that's called murder. No.
Give them pain medicine and let them die. That's often more expensive than euthanasia. That's why we usually don't do it to animals. But this is this is interesting what you said there, though, Miss Katie. You said that would be murder, but then is it murder if we put down a cat who has a cancerous tumor and is in pain because the cat doesn't say I want to die, but we make the decision for them? What do you think?
Well, because it says here people shouldn't be euthanized against their will. So what we're doing is of course we shouldn't murder anybody against their will, but I think that we are compassionate enough. If we see, for example, a squirrel in the road that's
Yeah.
been run over by a car and has their 2 legs bleeding, and they're just like, you know, trying to get to the side. Like, there is no recuperation for this squirrel. There's no 911, bring an ambulance. I mean, and a cat in the same position, or a cat who has cancer and can't eat and is clearly in pain, that's far different. And I hope that when I'm older and I'm suffering, that somebody will euthanize me. I sincerely hope that somebody will say, you know, bring on that massive amount of morphine and inject her. Because if I'm wearing a diaper and I don't know who my family is, and I have cancer or whatever, if I'm not able to be useful in this society, I don't want to live.
Yeah, and these horrible things can absolutely happen to us as we age. So, yeah. So, yeah. And so you were saying here, better to give them pain medicine and let them die. Yeah, pain medicine, exactly. We should, but you know, there's laws against that, because there's a certain amount of pain medication you could give, but you know, there's a good amount that you can give that you can sort of put the person into sort of like a real la la land. Miss Katie, it looks like someone in the comments here is going vegan. Hold on. Michael Cortez says, okay, I will be vegan. So I don't know what they've seen in the comments or whether it's something we've said, but let's hope he's true to his word, eh? Okay,
I don't see that, but
there you are.
Oh, okay, Michael.
Thank you, Michael, for making the change. And if you've got any
tell us more. I'm looking right now. Okay, I want you to type something else, because you know what we need to know, Michael, is we need to know what makes you decide this. And by the way, happy Vegan Declaration Day. Happy Vegan Declaration Day to you. Woo-hoo. Happy Vegan Declaration Day to you. Whether you've been vegan for a lifetime or just a minute, like you, welcome to the club. We're so glad you're in it. Happy Vegan Declaration. Clap, everyone. Happy Vegan Declaration Day to you. Happy Vegan Declaration Day to you. Everywhere around the world, animals are lining up to thank you for your compassion and for allowing your heart to open up. Woo! Yay! Go.
Beautiful.
Go, Michael. All right.
You know, my favorite song of yours is the Gary.
I know, I'm a terrible. I know. Sometimes my voice is just bad, but anyway.
Well, my favorite song of yours is the Gary Yourofsky one. Once upon a time, there was a man named Gary Yourofsky.
Hey, you know what?
That one's a badass one.
By the way, George, what is that behind your shoulder there in the room? Turn around.
Is
that a guitar? So do you play the guitar?
Oh, no. You're going to ask me to play, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, you could learn the Gary Yourofsky song. Maybe you've tried it already. But yeah, thank you for saying that, because I actually... Yeah, Gary Yourofsky is a great animal rights activist, and I hope that he hears the video that one day. If anybody knows Gary Yourofsky, can you please send him that song? Yeah, he did a lot of good, and he was tough, and he inspires me to be tough and to not sugarcoat things. So are we seeing a comment, by the way, from Michael here anywhere? Michael, if you're still here, we thank you for being vegan. Seriously. And I'm sorry I didn't sound that well. My voice is just, but yeah.
One comment that's come up here, from Vegan Pixie Warrior. So this is Rebecca. So she's set up the Bristol We the Free chapter as it happens. So,
good job.
Yeah. So thank you, Rebecca, for doing that. And yeah, it's going to be great to be doing activism with you soon. So she says, what are your thoughts on Dr. Joy comments on the vegan spectrum? So do you know much about this, Miss Katie?
Well, I do, but nobody else does. So you start from the beginning.
We'll fill them in. So Melanie Joy promotes what's called a reducitarian aspect of veganism. So she's very different from, say, Gary Francione, who is known for his abolitionist message. Mm-hmm. So Melanie Joy says it's better that instead of demanding everyone goes vegan, we actually demand that everyone be as vegan as possible, and that will create a vegan world. Mm-hmm. I don't know what data she's using to say that, but I don't agree with that, because if we just demand that everyone goes vegan, some people will naturally just reduce anyway. So we're getting what she asks for, but via demanding that people actually stop animal oppression altogether. And she uses this example as well of having vegan allies, which means people who aren't vegan, but who support veganism. And yeah, while it's good to have those, it's good to have people in the world who say, yeah, what vegans are doing is a noble cause. But at the same time, ultimately we want those people to be vegan as well. And whereas Melanie Joy, I think, is kind of saying we shouldn't really be pushing anyone to go vegan, but rather just to reduce, because if you push people to do it, they won't do it. Or so I don't know. Like
I think it's bullshit. Look, I loved her TED Talk. Yeah. And I've met her in real life. She's actually in one of my music videos holding up the lyrics. You can see it on my YouTube channel, That Vegan Teacher on YouTube.
Yeah.
But this, look, and I get it. If you have 10 people who are all eating animals and they all reduce by a lot, it's better than just having one who's vegan. Because, in terms of the amount of animals that are harmed. But that's only temporary, everyone. We need to make people feel like shit for being mean to animals. We have to change society as a whole to stop being so, we have to stop society from being so self-absorbed. That's what we need to do. Get to the root of the problem. Speciesism is wrong. And people say, well, you can't make people feel guilty. And I say bullshit to that. If anybody does anything else bad, if I do something that's racist, you're going to make me feel guilty, and that's going to make me change. I'm not racist, by the way. I'm not. Everyone thinks that I am because I think that we should. Well, anyway, that's another thing, but I'm not. I think that everyone should have the same rights.
Well, there's a good question here, Miss Katie. Question, I'm a big fan and I want to become vegan. What are the basics? From Fedori there. Can you see that?
I don't know wwhere that is, but go ahead and address it. I'll try to find it.
Cool. It should be on the screen now in the comments bit. But yeah, or it's just gone now. But yeah, so Fedori, that's good that you want to become vegan. When you say the basics, it's easier than you think. Don't think that it's so hard. All you've got to do is just remember that every time you see an animal product on the shelf, there's a victim involved. And every time you pick up the cow lactations, you're committing animal abuse by doing that. Just remember that, and you'll never buy a non-vegan food ever again. And there's so many alternatives now. So, you can do the whole plant-based stuff. You can eat, rice and beans and nuts and legumes and that kind of thing. But there's also all the great plant-based alternatives. You can get all the plant-based meats, and there's, there's plant-based, chocolate bars and all that junk food and stuff we've got, and all that, dairy, you're covered. I mean, you don't need to ever drink cow lactations again. We've got soy milk, oat milk, almond milk, coconut milk.
Vegan ice cream is so good.
Yeah. And I would say, Fedori, watch a speech or something to inspire you. Maybe watch Gary Yourofsky's Best Speech You Will Ever Hear. If anyone's not aware of that, I'll just say again, Best Speech You Will Ever Hear. YouTube that. Amazing speech by Gary Yourofsky. Or watch one of the vegan documentaries like Dominion or Earthlings. And that will, that will make you go, boom, I've got to do this. And, realize that it's a moral imperative.
Okay, so here's one. Okay, people say that Gary Yourofsky, somebody, he's problematic because he is advocating for women to be raped. That's not what he's advocating for, ever. You guys are just twisting his words. He is saying, and he says it to everybody, what you do to animals is what should happen to you. That's his belief. He thinks if you kill somebody, you should be killed. He thinks if you take an animal and you pin them down and you slit their throat, he thinks that should happen to you. That's his personal belief. I don't think that that's problematic. He just believes in what you dish out, you should be able to take. Obviously, he doesn't want to hurt women. He is in a committed relationship, and he fights for the rights of women and all kinds of people. He's simply saying, don't do this to animals. Don't force females to be pregnant, and don't steal their milk. Don't steal their babies. How would you like your baby to be stolen from you? You don't like that? Then don't do it. That's all his message is. You should not be twisting it around.
Yeah, I just want to say about this very controversial comment that Yourofsky made. It was an excerpt from an excerpt of an essay he wrote in 1998, where he also said, I hope that KKK members and Nazis get raped. But no one ever talks about that. Nope. Everyone only talks about the fur wearer's comment.
Yeah.
And He also said he hopes that someone who rapes a woman in a fur coat, this is very graphic now, I'm sorry, but should have their genitals sliced off and then be made to eat their own severed genitals. So what he's saying is this weird, kind of nonsensical, just fantasy, like angry rant in his head. And he said if he came across a woman in a fur coat being raped, he would beat the rapist to death. So this is the thing with Gary. You got to take what he says with a pinch of salt, because he's he's always ranting and you never know what the fuck he's going on about, really.
Well, I think I understand what he's going on about. He is simply saying that he hates violence. He doesn't like somebody to oppress anybody else. And he sees a clear line between you are now being oppressed and now you're the oppressor. And he's just saying, be kind to everyone. Don't hurt people. And that if you're doing something that's really bad and really mean to somebody else, well, you should be prepared to accept that that could happen to you and don't be complaining about it. So I don't know. I don't see him that way. And I don't, maybe if I met him in real life, maybe I'd hate him. Maybe he'd be a total asshole, but I see his message because I've seen enough of his work. And I just don't believe that he's anything but an amazing activist. That's what I see.
There's another good comment here. Aquatic ape is on the screen. Plants are sentient. It's being studied. Oh, hold on. We can do this one as well.
Okay.
Miss Katie, you are an amazing person, helping everyone find their way to being vegan. Thank you so much, and you always have supporters. Yeah, what a shame you got censored as well from TikTok with that reach. So aquatic ape. Yeah. Plants are sentient. It's being studied. Yeah, aquatic ape. The only studies you speak of that claim to show plant sentience are actually paranormal studies. So paranormal studies, those are studies that claim the existence of ghosts and werewolves and witches. They're not studies that are validated by anyone at all in the scientific community. The science community completely rejects the idea that plants are sentient, and it's making a mockery of animal rights to say that they are, because when a human gets decapitated, no one starts talking about broccoli.
Exactly. And I came up with this idea that this example, like if your neighbor's house is on fire and there's a cat in there and there's a fridge full of celery, like, are you really going to start to think, I better run and get the celery out of the fridge and save its life? Like, it might be, come on. It's ridiculous. Yeah. You all know that you're going to save the animal first. So what is this bullshit? I don't what is the bullshit is that people don't want to look in the mirror at what they are contributing to.
I love this response in the comments section from Kat, the vegan artist. So someone called Luke Benton said we should eat what we want, and he's meaning animals. And Kat, the vegan artist, has replied, yes, eat what you want, not who you want. And that's the important thing, because non-vegans seem to think that animals are just these inanimate objects or something. And Kat, the vegan artist, has hit the nail on the head. Yeah, animals are whos, they're not whats. And you have to take into consideration, that you're murdering a sentient being, someone with a heartbeat who wanted to live when you buy animal products.
That sounds like a song waiting to happen. I'm going to write that down. Wait, George, so you also write songs, is that it?
No, I don't write songs, no.
Oh.
No.
Okay, so eat what you want, not who you want. Eat what you want, not who you want. Okay. I'll think of a better tune.
This is good. Yeah, this is good, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, even if plants were in fact found to be sentient, then that would be all the more reason to live vegan. Do you know why that is, Miss Katie, or shall I answer that one?
Of course I do, but I like you to talk because I talk way too much.
So the reason Has Vegan says that is because it actually requires more plants to feed a non-vegan than it does a vegan. 10 times more plants, because of all the plants used to raise farmed animals. Have you ever wondered why there's so many starving children in Africa, yet the 70 billion or something land animals roaming the earth right now on farms, and many of the marine animals enslaved as well, they never miss a meal? Has anyone wondered why that is? Because we're feeding all the world's plants, all the world's crops to those farmed animals to fatten them up for KFC, for dairy, for Burger King. So yeah, if you are deluded enough, anyone in the comments, to think that plants are sentient, then just go vegan, because you'll actually save more plants by being vegan.
Yeah. Now, I was trying to think about, because my goal is to write all these different songs, right? These short songs that people can use on Instagram and on TikTok, and to try to put that idea into a song that's 15 seconds long. It's really hard. But you said it well. You're pretty good at condensing something. Like, don't filter them through the animals first or something. But like, George, don't you just want to just say that to somebody right in their face and just have them, like, what do they say, right? When you, like, right now we don't see that person's reaction, right? Oh, okay. So you really think that your cucumber has a lot of, feels a lot of pain when you bite into it. It's so bad. But you know what? Hey, you should eat less plants then, because they're being filtered through animals. Like, do they say, oh yeah, good point. Okay, I'll be vegan now. They don't, right?
They do. It's just disingenuous bullshit.
Bacon.
Yeah, exactly. It's disingenuous. No. Hi, Katie. I'm vegetarian. I really want to be vegan, but I love cheese and eggs. What I have to do? Well, Lecker Game and NL, that's good that you want to go vegan. Thank you for wanting to make the switch. Now, you don't love cheese and eggs as much as cows and chickens love their lives. They want to live. And every time you fund the dairy and the egg industry, that murders animals in those industries. So male chicks are shredded alive in the egg industry because they don't lay. And then all the chickens are slaughtered at the end of their lifespan. And then in the dairy industry as well, male calves are shot shortly after birth because they can't produce dairy for you. And then the females, they'll be abused and exploited their whole life and be sent off to slaughter as well. So if you love cheese and eggs, eat the vegan alternatives. There's plant-based cheese and egg foods that you can eat out there. They're great. And as I say, you don't love them as much as those animals want to live.
I used to eat eggs every day. Scrambled eggs, I loved. I'd have 2 of them, put them on toast. Like, to be honest, just some foods, when I look back, I think, oh God, like I could never eat that again. But every once in a while, I still have like a memory of like a Saturday morning at the cottage and the smell of the fireplace and eating the eggs and I still have that because I ate eggs my whole life and cheese, of course. So I totally get it. But what you got to do is you got to just smack yourself in the face and be like, wake up. Who gives a fuck about your taste buds? Like, there's just too bad. Now, the best thing you can do, and this is the same as anybody who's on a diet trying to lose weight or whatever, you know what they say, right? You're in the store. You want to lose weight. Don't put chips in your shopping cart. Don't put Coke into your shopping cart. Just don't bring it into your home at all. Don't bring it in here at all. So in order to avoid getting it in here, don't bring it into your home for a start. So how do you start? You just don't put it in your cart. That's it. It's as simple as that. And then you know what? You put a whole bunch of other stuff in there and you just like get curious. Like, oh, what is this thing? Oh, it's vegan. I got to put that in there. Oh, this is vegan. Let's try this. And just start to change your habits.
It's so simple. Yeah. Why would we overcomplicate things? Again,
I like to use the concept of stealing. Okay. So what's your name? Lecker Gamen. Lecker means, I think it tastes good in German or something like that.
I think NL, maybe they're Dutch. NL is Netherlands, maybe.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so Lecker, or whatever your name is. You know that stealing is wrong, right? When you go to the grocery store, do you steal stuff? Do you like try to shove stuff under your coat? I'm going to assume you don't, right? So why are you stealing the lives of animals when you're in the grocery store? You know that stealing is wrong. So don't steal. Simple as that.
There's a comment below theirs as well from Vegan Pixie Warrior again, asking you to play George Martin's Plants Feel Pain song on his YouTube channel. Yeah, so I did a parody song on my YouTube of the Plants Feel Pain argument. It was a parody of the Fuck You song by CeeLo Green. So if anyone wants to check that out, go to my YouTube, Carnism Debunked, and I've got a little parody song on there called Plants Feel Pain.
Okay, so it's somebody else's melody, is that it?
Yes. So you know the CeeLo Green song, "Fuck You." I see you driving around town with a girl I love, and I'm like, and I've done a Plants Feel Pain.
How come you're such a good singer and I'm not? You're singing all my songs. Do it again. Do it. Sing it. Sing your version, just like that. Right? Go.
It says, I see you comment on my post saying plants feel pain, and I'm like, fuck you. And then, damn, how does it go? I'm sick of answering this bullshit again and again, and I'm like, fuck you, and I'll fuck him too. When you're buying a burger, you're paying for murder. No, ain't that bullshit? There you go.
All right.
And that's on my YouTube, folks, so check it out.
When this COVID's over, George, we have to form a band. I'm gonna compose the songs and you're gonna make them cool. You be the lead singer. I just want to be the backup dancer and just go hoo wah, like, you know.
We'll be the most hated band in the world, Miss Katie.
Yeah, let's do it. Who else can we have in our band? Who else that likes to sing or dance or whatever? Anyway, so I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of volunteers. What's this one?
Miss Katie, you should be proud of how many people you got inspired that they can help by you, so that they can help spread the love to all animals. Yep. That vegan teacher gets so many haters, but at the same time, look how many people she's changed. So fuck
thank
the
you
haters.
for saying that. Yeah. I've had my days where I've been to my bed with my blankets over my head and like crying my eyes out, like, I'm making it worse. Oh my God. Like, so, you know, to hear that I'm not, it just helped.
Any activist who gets any kind of spotlight whatsoever, who gets any kind of platform, will have haters. It's just the way the world works. It doesn't matter what justice movement you're a part of as well. If you have any kind of platform within a justice movement, look at the people we look back on throughout history who we now love and adore. They were despised at their time. So often, actually, if you're vegan and people are hating you, the masses are hating you, it's probably because you're calling them out on their bullshit and you're doing something right.
Yeah, I just wish that we wouldn't have the death threats. You know, that sucks, and that people still come and like run and bang on our door in the middle of the night, and we have to call the police, and they throw, you know, meat over my fence. Like but they dox my address. Somebody shared my phone number with everybody. I had to change my phone number that I had for years. I used to love my phone number, and then now I don't even remember what my new number is. I've given it out to like my 3 kids. That's it. You know, okay, my husband has it too, but that's about it. You know, yeah, it does come with a lot. But I know a Vegan Booty also has a lot of, you know, it's scary for her. If you don't know her, Tash Peterson, please follow her, Vegan Booty. I was actually live this morning on Instagram with her, my first time doing a live. And she gets the same thing. She's a vegan animal rights activist. She walks down the street and she's like always doing one of these, like, because there's so many people that just hate truth tellers.
Yeah. Because
they feel so guilty. It's the most bizarre thing that if we were speaking out on behalf of Black Lives Matter or the LGBTQ, you'd never be doing one of these looking over your shoulder. But because you're defending animals, for some reason, it just triggers people.
Depends on the country, I guess, as well. Like, for example, in the Middle East or in certain parts of Asia, if you were speaking out for LGBT issues and stuff, you definitely would be looking over your shoulder. Yes. So it depends where you are in the world, but there's always going to be haters and danger and stuff. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, so what do I do if my mom hates vegans? Yeah. Kiki Puff. Well, all I will say, Kiki Puff, is there are many things that your mum probably hates, but you still do, right? I mean, who is directly, completely 100% obedient to what their parents think? We all disagree with our parents on certain things. It might be something like religion. It might be something about the way you have your hair cut or something. So if your mum hates vegans, that's her problem, and you have to educate her. You know, she's educated you on certain things, raising you. Now it's your turn to educate her. So say that to her. Say, Mum, I appreciate that you've educated me on certain things. Now I want to educate you on what happens in these industries that you're funding, and show her. And you could say to her, you know, hey, Mom, by the way, I'm so happy that you raised me to have a huge heart and to be so compassionate. I like that. Thank you for that. You've raised a really amazing kid. And by the way, with this amazing gift you gave me for compassion, I've decided to use all of the gifts you've given me. And I'm going to be vegan. I'm not hurting animals anymore. And hey, why don't you come and watch this 5-minute video? It's called Dairy is Scary. It's only 5 minutes, Mom. There was a fantastic point I heard on, you're not on good terms with Earthling Ed at the moment, are you, Miss Katie? I have never spoken to Earthling Ed in my life, and he's never spoken to me in my life. But the only thing that happened is he did a video
And well, this is a long story, and it's a shame actually that you bring it up now, because I do want to address it, and I would not have normally brought it up. But
okay,
I will. I want to hear your point after. But just so everybody knows who Earthling Ed is, Earthling Ed is an animal rights activist who I supported for years, and always, every time that he wrote something, I was sharing his videos, or did a video, sharing it like crazy. Used to think, he seems really cool. He did a bunch of great stuff. But what happened is, when I was going through what I was going through on TikTok, I had more followers than he did. I had 1.7 million followers. And instead of him saying, oh, who's that person that's rising up to the top and coming and writing some nice things in my comment section and supporting me, it's like he just was like, okay, she doesn't exist. Let's pretend she's not even there. And then at some point, when Gordon Ramsay made a video about me, I sang my song, Gordon Ramsay, Please Don't Eat Animals. I was playing my little ukulele. It was a 15-second song on TikTok. When Earthling Ed decided to address the whole issue, because I guess this star Gordon Ramsay now entered into the picture, I guess I wasn't enough for him to speak about, but that's okay, honestly. I didn't really expect him to. But what surprised me is that when he came out, Earthling Ed said, well, I don't really agree with, I don't agree with everything that Miss Katie says, but let me talk about Gordon Ramsay. Like, he had one sentence in his YouTube video where it was the first time he acknowledged that I even exist. But what disappointed me is that his first sentence ever uttered was, I don't agree with everything she says. But it's like, well, what? What do you not agree with? Are you racist? Because I'm not. Are you homophobic? Because I'm not. Are you in agreement that we should stop hurting animals? Because I am. Like, so I gave him shit, basically. I made a video and I said, what the fuck is this? Like, you don't acknowledge my existence. I've supported you for years. And the first thing you say to people is, you don't agree with everything I say, and you leave everybody hanging. Like, I already had the entire world turn their backs on me, like, just by the millions of people who shut me off of TikTok. Like, and I said, it was a shameful thing that you just did. Because what you could have said is, first of all, leave me out of it completely, or say, I agree with a lot of things that vegan teacher says. And let me talk about Gordon Ramsay. He could have done that, but that's not what he chose to do. So fuck him. And also, don't. Follow him anyway, because he does good work. See, that's the thing. I'm able to separate the human from the work. And I think we should all be able to do that. He has amazing videos. He has, and I'm going to support him right now. I'm sorry, George, I'm talking too much, but I'm going to say it right now. He has a series of videos that's called 30 Days, 30 Excuses. And he makes these short videos about 2-3 minutes long where he talks about every single thing, similar to what George does. George has his site, Carnism Debunked, and you can look at, but plants feel pain, and he's going to write a paragraph talking about these things. And what Earthling Ed did is he made these little videos out of it, which is great. And I, on my YouTube channel, review them often and say, hey, this is really great. And I don't talk badly about Earthling Ed, but, since you brought it up, I'm going to say, I'm hoping, what I told him to do is I said, Earthling Ed, I want you to do another video, and I want you to write 10 things you like about that vegan teacher. And I want it on my desk tomorrow.
I would love for you to do a live stream with Earthling Ed so you can settle your differences. Because I know Ed, and he's a really nice guy. And I think, I think it would be really good if you could have a chat with him about what went wrong. He could explain his side of things, because no one really knows. Did he delete this video like instantly after putting it up or something?
Well, after I made my video, his went down. I don't know if it was a direct correlation that maybe they didn't want vegans to fight with each other, but there might have been something else in his video. But it was odd that it went down. I think it went to private or something. But yeah, I'm not saying that he owes me an apology, okay? But I think it would be really great if he contacted me and just said, hey, let's have a live together and we can talk about the things that we do agree on, which is like 99.999% of things. Like,
The point I wanted to make, why I brought up Ed, is because on his, he does a really good podcast that you can listen to on Spotify. It's called the Disclosure Podcast for anyone listening. Yeah. And he talks about like parenting and stuff in one of the episodes. And he mentions a really good point, which is like the reason that a lot of parents get quite defensive and stuff when their child goes vegan is because you have to think about what parenting is. You're raising someone essentially to be a good person. You're raising them with your values and making what you consider to be a moral human being. And then one day your child turns around and says, I'm vegan. Now, subconsciously, someone's mum or dad might see that as like it's saying you're a bad parent. You raised me bad because you taught me growing up that milk and eggs and meat was good, when actually it's evil. So they see it as like, so this might be the problem, the commentary a moment ago with your mum. That might be the way she's
and that's the way to turn it around. It's just to say, mom and dad, you guys are amazing parents, and by the way, I know you didn't know about the meat, dairy, and egg industries, but hey, I'm a good person and you raised me to be a good person, so let's be vegan as a family. And hopefully if you do that and you try to educate them, and you have to be patient with your parents. Like, see, a lot of times teenagers have been watching interviews like ours, and like I said, they've seen a mug like this, you know, they've had time to kind of think it over, a sweatshirt like I showed before, you know, they see something, they're gonna have all these little clicks. I mean, this is something I used to bring in the coffee shop with me. I don't know if you can see this. See that? Yeah. I used to put that on my table when I'd have a coffee. I'll be there with my computer doing work, and you know, on the other side it says, "Are you vegan yet?" It's a little thing that I got. This is just an IKEA frame. Sorry, the green screen is making it look funny. It's actually green in real life. But anyway, you see, you can put this in your bag. And then when you're having a coffee somewhere, you know, after COVID's over, you put that out. And this also is another click. You know, people walk by and they're like, oh, I guess there's a vegan at that table. You know, look, come say hi if you're vegan. So you have had all of these clicks, and your parents are just like, what? You want to be vegan? They're just like at click one. They're not even at click one. And you're like, you just hit click 100. So you got to be patient with people. You got to be patient with parents and just educate them slowly. And
damn, this is a ridiculous comment up on the screen right now. Oh my God. Let's look at this one. I'll go vegan once I find a girlfriend that can cook vegan meals. Otherwise, hey, I'm on the fleshy side of things because I don't know any vegan recipes. What kind of ridiculous bullshit is that, Aquatic Ape? Why do you need a woman to cook stuff for you? Why can't learn to fucking cook yourself? Number one.
No, a woman's place is in the kitchen. The fuck?
I can't believe what I'm reading here.
She better be barefoot and pregnant also. I mean, come on.
Number one, fucking learn to cook yourself. Number two, there's like, what do you mean you don't know any vegan recipes? Then find some. Google is your friend, or get a vegan cookbook.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know what Google is. Be patient with him. Let me handle this one. Okay, Aquatic Ape. You're an ape. Okay, so you just need to evolve a little bit more. Okay, just evolve. You know, and just maybe look at. So Google is this thing. You can just on your computer, you just like press it. It's like Google, and you just type in healthy vegan recipes. Okay, can you do that? If you have trouble, maybe just ask, I don't know, your neighbor. There's probably a 10-year-old that lives in your neighborhood who can help you with Google. Okay, and then once you find the healthy vegan recipes, you like follow the directions. I know, it's hard. You gotta turn the stove on, like fry an onion maybe, put some tofu in there. You can do it. You got this, man. You can totally do it.
And hey, you can also do raw veganism. You don't even need to cook. You can just get a plate of veggies and fruits and stuff and eat that. You don't have to cook everything either.
Yeah, listen to George.
There you go. Yeah. I like this from Hasim in the comments. Cooking equals basic life skill. Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, and then I've got.
Oh, this is the best one. Sorry. Vegan says, epic vegan meal. Put your phone in the microwave. You can do it. Yeah, try that one, Aquatic Ape. That's a good one. Do that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. No, but seriously, actually, we don't really cook a whole lot over here. I mean, like really, if you're cooking, for example, oatmeal, you literally boil water. And you just put stuff in it and you stir it, and it's it. And it just makes a great meal. Like I said, chia seeds, flax seeds. And everybody should have a big giant bowl of oatmeal every morning. Why not? It's so filling. It's so delicious. You could put all kinds of fruit in there, mash up a banana, like I said. And also, every single weekend, what you should do is make a big batch of rice, brown rice, and another big batch of lentils, and you just have that big batches in your fridge. And then anytime you're hungry, you just take a bit out of those, got your two piles, you mix them together if you want, pour some kind of sauce on there, some marinara sauce, something spicy, and just heat up. Don't you have a freezer? You have a freezer with some frozen veggies in there, just warm them up. I mean, it's really not that hard. And by the way, you're probably eating too much anyway. Eat less. Most people eat way too much and they waste too much food. It's not that hard. You eat a bunch of nuts and dates. Don't you like almonds, walnuts, dates, figs?
This is a sad comment here I'm seeing from Mohammed Omar in the comments. I want to be vegan, but I'm afraid that my parents could disown me. So that sounds like a bad situation there, Mohammed. I'm sorry to hear about your situation, but if you believe your parents are understanding people and they've raised you to be a good human being, make the switch. You don't have to, it doesn't matter if they're petty enough to fall out with you over the fact that you're choosing to be a good person and no longer abuse animals, then that's their loss, mate. So do it. Speak to your parents.
Yeah, and I can understand. You see, this is part of the reason that I think that people started to hate me on TikTok is I would equate homophobia with vegan phobia. I would say that to people, okay, LGBTQ community, hey, LGBTQ, we support you, but if you don't like oppression, why the fuck aren't you vegan yet? Okay, that's what I said. I would try to say, look, you're born gay, you're born lesbian. Mohammed here, he's born vegan. He never wanted to hurt animals. Yep. He always had a kind heart. So all he's doing is coming out of the closet as a vegan. You understand? He's just telling you who he is. Okay, I'm going to talk to his parents. Mohammed's parents. You have an amazing kid here. I don't know if this person is 12 years old or 22. I have no idea, right? Could be even older. I don't know, right? Could be even 32. You still care about your parents and don't want them to disown you. Maybe you live with them. So, Mohammed, if you could tell us your age, these kind of details help because also it's the way that I would talk to you or your parents. I don't see your eyes. I don't know if you're young or old. I don't know what language to use. I don't know what facial expressions, but I'll just say to your parents that Mohammed is an amazing person. You have raised a person with an amazing heart who doesn't want to hurt animals. There is no reason for you to disown him. In fact, you should reach out and give this human a giant hug and say, I'm so proud of you. How can we help you? Parents, you want to avoid being vegan phobic. You want to be vegan fantastic, which is a word that I invented. It's the opposite. And it's spelled with a PH because it's the opposite of homophobia is written with a PH, right? Vegan phobia with a PH. I say be vegan fantastic. Now, that doesn't mean that you immediately have to be vegan like your kids or like Mohammed is, but it means your immediate reaction should be to help. Okay, just because Mohammed is on level 100, he's had his clicks, and you're just that one, doesn't mean you have to be cruel to him. Be kind and educate yourself. Mohammed, come move in with me. I'll be nice to you. We have a fridge full of vegan food. But you know what? I could say that. I have like 1,000 people who want to move in with me. Like, oh, can you be my mom? Can you be my grandmother? Like, okay, but my house isn't that big. Well, hopefully it'll all work out.
I just saw a good question here from Alessina Naruzi saying, how can I be vegan when I need non-vegan pills? That's a very good question. So I'm assuming, Alessina, that maybe your pills have lactose in them or something like that. Now, the Vegan Society, maybe Miss Katie has a different opinion on this, but I'm just telling you what the Vegan Society says. The Vegan Society says don't avoid medication for vegan reasons. So we live in a non-vegan world, and you may have been prescribed very important medication for you. So, I'm not going to be irresponsible and say don't take that. Please take your medication if that's what you need to do. The important thing is that you're not funding the animal holocaust when it comes to food, clothing, anything like that. And
yeah, I agree with you, George. And also we have to keep in mind that, if you're looking at a big cup like this, let's say this was filled with milk, right? Yeah. Of course, the person should be drinking soy milk and plant milk, and there's no excuse for you shouldn't be buying leather and all of these things. You need a medication, you need a pill that is this big in order for you to survive.
Yeah.
What can we do? We don't live in a perfectly vegan world yet, but be careful, okay? Because a lot of people use that as an excuse, and then they end up, next thing you know, they're eating, Doritos with the cheese on them. Like, oh, I can't be vegan because I have to take this medication. Yeah, you can still be vegan because vegan means you're trying your best at all times to not hurt animals. And also, there are alternatives because there are people who are allergic to lactose. And let's say, because George just brought that up, okay? So let's say you're allergic to lactose. Well, your doctor is going to find an alternative medication for people who have lactose. So, I have talked to doctors and they've said, look, everyone can be vegan. They'll find their way around it.
Yeah.
What else have we got?
Itche says, I want to be vegan, but I don't know what to eat. I don't really like vegetables. Please, I need some advice. Can you see that one?
No, but can I just start to address that?
Yeah.
I hated vegetables. Okay. When I first became a nurse, I started nursing school at 17. I became a nurse at 20 and I moved out to downtown, to Montreal, and I had my apartment there. And, I used to eat like shit. It was terrible. I would eat like a vitamin pill and think, well, I can eat all these cookies now because I took a vitamin pill. Like, ridiculous when you're young, what you think. But I hated vegetables. I just didn't like them. But you know what happens? When you become vegan and you have your mind set on this idea that you are not stealing. Okay, you know the stealing's wrong. You're not going to steal the freedom of an animal. You're not going to steal any products off a shelf. You're not going to steal the life. You start to think, okay, this is the new reality. This is the new norm. And there's broccoli. And this is my new best friend. And you're like, ugh. But then you know what? You figure it out. You chop it up so you don't have to chew it as much. You throw it in a soup. And then, you add a bunch of spices. And you go talk to the other guy there. We just taught him how to use Google. So you will Google healthy vegan recipes and you'll figure it out. You will learn to love vegetables. That's a sign I have. And it's a song. Learn to love vegetables. They didn't have to die for you. Learn to love vegetables. They didn't have to die for you. Sing that.
And I want to say as well, Itche, there's 20,000 edible plant species out there.
Is it 20? Because I read somewhere
more.
15.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, well, it could be slightly fewer, it could be more, but there's
even if there was 1,000, George.
Yeah, exactly. I promise you, Itche, there is loads of delicious food out there that you will absolutely love to eat. Don't be you might have been put off vegetables by one or two vegetables you've eaten before, but the vegetable kingdom is massive and it's delicious, and you can season it how you like. There's all the spices of the world out there.
Yeah.
And make whatever you want a vegan version.
And as you're doing the transition, like, look, I don't cook with oil and I don't put a lot of salt on things, but as you're making the transition, like, just go for it. If you really, don't want to eat your like frozen peas, corn and carrots or whatever it is, just go ahead, put the oil on there, put a blob of vegan mayo if you need to, like stir it up and then gradually ease out, take the unhealthy stuff out of there. But just to get over the hump, you can do it. And sorry, just to say that just to reemphasize the tip I gave before, so I think it's a really good one, is use a blender as much as you can, because, like, you think about it, if you put we have a giant thing of spinach in our fridge, huge, right? I mean, I'm not exaggerating, like a big thing of it. My husband and I can eat that in one meal. And the reason, how do we do that? It's not just like by eating it like this, but it's like you blend it up and you just, down the hatch. Or you just cook it and it shrinks to almost nothing. Throw some onions in there and some mushrooms or whatever you like. And the less chewing you have to do, the more you can get your vegetables in you.
Spaghetti Alfredo says, I came here to get advice, but a lot of people in my school and town are vegan and I see their propaganda everywhere. Lots of them tell me to be vegan, but I don't want to. Well, let me tell you what propaganda is, Spaghetti Alfredo. Propaganda is the shit that you guys are spreading when you're putting cartoons of laughing cows on the front of products of rape and abuse, when you're showing chickens dancing on the TV screen when the reality is that they're being murdered and having their wings cut off them. That's propaganda. What vegans have nothing to gain by asking you to go vegan. We're just showing you the truth. Those industries that you fund, they have everything to gain by you buying their products. So that is the propaganda, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm going to write it in here. Watch Earthlings. Watch Earthlings. Watch Earthlings. It's a great documentary. Or somebody else will name all the other ones. Come on, guys, write them all out. Write all the documentaries for Spaghetti Alfredo. Spaghetti Alfredo, you're going to say, oh, that's fake footage. That's not what really happens. And
they're actors in suits all along.
Actors, yeah. And but listen, in a way, I get it. When I first saw the animal suffering, I thought it can't be true. It just can't be true. Like, how could our world be this horrible? And so I tried to block it out. And that's why, again, I say it takes 100 clicks to become vegan. That was one time. Do you think I became vegan instantly? No, because I thought that can't be true. The world can't be that mean. Like, my parents can't be that mean. My neighbor can't be that cruel. We can't all be hurting animals like this. And then you keep looking. And after a while, when you see the undercover footage from around the world, and you see every species of animal that we butcher and torture, after a while, you can't deny it. And you got to be vegan. And you should listen to your friends and tell them to come over here, because I want to give them a big hug, because they're on the right track. They're on the right side of history. The future is vegan. Get on board. We're going.
Yep. 100%.
Dominion movement. Yeah. Somebody says here, oh, sorry. Did I just, I think I missed one. Dominion, more up-to-date, vastly higher quality footage. Kat, the vegan artist, I agree with you, but Earthlings has music. That is like, how music affects you? Like, in a horror movie, did you ever watch a horror movie that, and as soon as the music starts, you're like this under the cover just because the music, you turn the music off, it's like, whatever, it's like nothing. I don't know. For me, Earthlings, anyway, some of the songs in there just, but yeah, it's definitely for younger people would probably like a higher quality footage, but it's pretty, either one. There's always some great comments here. We have, let's show this one here. Fruits and veggies, greens. Yes, vegan. Way to go, Haz. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Is poop vegan? Yes, it is. You may eat your own poop. You have my permission, because you're not hurting anybody. Just go for it. Just bring a knife and fork in the toilet. Just, do it. You're not hurting animals. Whatever.
They're sorted now. There you go. You've made their day.
Oh, wait, there was something. Oh, no, somebody's answering Ricky. No, but there's something there. Okay, I lost it. Oh, wait, somebody here. Can you answer my question? But what is the question?
Hey, can you answer my question? If animals aren't supposed to be eaten, why are they made out of food? Yeah, I mean, just the standard, typical troll bullshit.
You're made out of food too. Did you know that? I mean, look at you. Hey, what's up? What? Do you know that you have a leg on you too? Chicken leg.
You've got some nice ribs as well.
Yeah.
Could be smoked. Some nice
fry
brisket.
You up in a pan. Yeah, come on.
I know a guy called Jeffrey Dahmer who might want to
Google Jeffrey. No, we're all Googling. Go and Google this guy Jeffrey Dahmer and ask him what he ate.
Yeah, food, right?
Okay, we didn't butcher nobody. That was them people. Oh, it's the aquatic ape again. Oh my god.
Oh, so he's trying to avoid responsibility now for what he's funding in this industry. I didn't butcher nobody. LOL, that was them people. You demand the murder, they supply the burger. Those companies that you're paying.
Oh, that's a song. I gotta write that down.
Yeah.
You demand the murder.
They supply the burger. So those companies that you're funding, Aquatic Ape, they're only doing it because you are asking them to. You are demanding that they stab an animal in the throat. So they go, oh, all right then. And then they do it for you because you're paying them to do it. If you don't pay them, they won't do it.
Yes, exactly.
It's like someone paying a hitman and then saying, it wasn't me.
Exactly. Look, if somebody pays me money to kill George, right? Don't worry, George.
Don't give him ideas.
Don't do it. Don't worry. I'll do it painlessly.
All right. Humanely.
Okay. So somebody pays me to kill George. Then, you're saying that oh, come on, I can't even do it. Come on, you know it's crazy. What's this? Vegan. weed, marijuana is vegan.
Yeah, man. No animal products. Knock yourself out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't believe in doing drugs personally.
Yeah.
I just don't have any desire to alter my conscience. Yesterday, I was visiting my daughter and my granddaughter. It was Friday evening, and we were out on the front and playing with my granddaughter's 1.5 years, and we were playing with like water and pouring and everything. My daughter finished work. She said, "Do you want a beer, Mom?" I said, "Okay." So I had like a half a beer. That's it. You drink a little bit just because it tastes good. It's a hot summer day, but doing drugs to alter your consciousness, to get drunk or stoned, like I don't understand it. Like, face reality. Help the world.
Do you not drink either?
I just said I had a beer,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No. I mean, it's not. I'm not. To me, it's all about you just shouldn't get drunk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shouldn't get stoned. Like just do things, like just be conscious. There's enough work to do. We have so few hours alive on Earth. There's ways to relax. Give somebody a massage. Get a massage. Like, go into nature. But
what if they want to party as well? People can party if they want to, right?
Well, they can. I mean, I don't believe me. I've had my share of leaning over the toilet.
All I'm saying is it's my birthday next week, Miss Katie, and I don't know if I'll be following your advice too stringently, is all I'm saying.
Just, it's okay to have a beer to get maybe a little buzz, but don't wreck your body. Your body is a temple, and smoking weed is, I don't know. Of course, I understand some people they do it for medical reasons, or if it's gonna calm you down so that you can stay alive and be an animal rights activist, like, do what you got to do. But I just don't believe in promoting it. Promoting exiting reality. I think we should stay within reality and do these things in moderation. Would you agree with that, at least?
Yeah, it's not healthy to take drugs and drink alcohol. So yeah, in moderation. Of course, yeah, I'll be responsible and say that.
Okay. Oh, it's Miss Katie's teaching assistant.
Be kind, be vegan. Watch Dominion.com, Earthlings, Cowspiracy, Seaspiracy, Forks Over Knives, The Game Changers. Yeah, some really good recommendations there, and they all hit up different angles that can pique people's interest.
You forgot to say lettuce and broccoli at the end. Yeah, important.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course.
Oh no. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Those are great documentaries. Yeah. Cowspiracy and Seaspiracy now. Yeah. What's missing there? What the Health? Land of Hope and Glory. Yeah. There's only so much room to write. Yeah. So here's somebody. This person likes chicking. What's chicking?
Oh my God.
Was that picking up chicks? What is that?
Yeah, no comments needed.
Okay, so where are we? Okay, I don't know. My thing kind of froze. So, what do we got? Anything else coming up here?
Yeah.
How long have you two been forcibly vegan for? Okay, Has 499. Thank you, Has. What percentage of a country's population would have to be vegan for the animals to get a Bill of Rights?
I think the tipping point, I think if about 20% of a country went vegan, that would mean that it's a serious moral issue that people would have to be waking up about. And the question wouldn't be so much, why are you vegan anymore? It might be more of a case of, why aren't you vegan? Because 2 out of 10 people in the country are vegan. That's a lot of people. And that it would snowball from there and hopefully get some kind of Bill of Rights introduced. But again, it's hard to say, because how would the government implement that? Because they would need the majority to be vegan, because they'd have to actually legislate it into law that it's wrong to murder animals for food. But I think about 20% is when it's going to snowball from. It will start going, boom, okay, now we're having to take this very seriously.
You know, George, I feel like I read somewhere that it even had to be less than that, like 4 or 5%.
Yeah.
In order to make a significant difference. And this is why I don't agree with somebody like Melanie Joy, who is
Yes.
a PhD and who's a vegan, and these people who advocate for this. Well, do it gently. We need strong activists to rise up. Imagine if all the Melanie Joys of the world and all of the people, AV, everybody said, no, it's animals, 100%, we're all going vegan, and that's it.
Yeah.
We don't believe in stealing. We don't believe in raping the animals. We don't believe in imprisoning them. We don't believe in enslaving them. We don't believe in putting them in gas chambers. That's it. If everybody was tough like that, I would never have been kicked off of TikTok. I would have had all kinds of supporters, but there's so many people who are just kind of watching me up there and going like, what's going to happen to her? And, ooh, maybe she's going to fall. Yeah, because you guys are not there supporting me. Like, animal rights activists have to stick up for each other.
Yeah.
All right, what else?
There's a good one here. God made animals for us to eat. Can you see that one from Dominic Castro?
Yeah.
So, Dominic, did you know that that's the very same arguments that slave traders use? They say God put them here to serve us. What kind of a God would be a torturer, a slave master, and an oppressor of his own babies that he created, sentient beings? Why on earth would God create sentient animals to be enslaved and be abused? Who are you worshipping here, Dominic? Is it God or is it the devil? That's what I'd ask you.
Yeah, I agree with George. If you're following if you're following any religion that's telling you to be mean, whether it's to humans or to animals, change religions. Change your religion like you change your underwear. Every day, change your religions if you have to.
Or find compatibility within your religion for veganism, because no religion actually says you must not be vegan. There are vegan Muslims, there are vegan Christians, vegan Jews, vegan Hindus. So what is anyone's excuse, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Try to change. Ideally, you're going to change your religion to wake up to what it really is supposed to be. You know, religion is created to make people good. So find the people that are good in your whatever church, synagogue, temple, whatever, and work within there. Try to make sure that at coffee hour there is some soy milk there, and just say, hey, we should not be having any animal secretions in our building. I mean, that's what I say. Also, that was another thing I was saying on TikTok that people didn't like. By the way, E. Wells, thank you for the donation. But I was saying that all religions should be vegan. Like, you know, you open the front door of a church, there should be no dead animal body parts in there. Yeah. It should be soy milk and oat milk. When you're having potlucks, it should all be vegan. I mean, it just seems like a no-brainer. You're not going to be going to a service and talking about how you're going to be good and meditating and bowing on a carpet or kneeling down on your knees and then just, hey, now let's just order some pizza and murder a bunch of animals. Like, it just doesn't work. Order vegan pizza where the cheese does not come from the suffering of a cow and where the meats on top are full of spicy deliciousness and they're made from plants.
Yep. Luis Gado says, science confirms there's no biological requirement in the human body for animal flesh, since there's no essential nutrient for humans that can only be obtained by consuming animal flesh. Exactly. Any nutrient we want, we can get elsewhere. And vegans are living proof of that. We're here, we're happy, we're healthy, we exist. People don't need to come up with these old wives' tales anymore telling us that you can't get this nutrient if you go vegan. It's all just nonsense.
This expression, old wives' tale. It's like, you know, we're trying to change language to not say, don't be a chicken shit, you know? Like old wives' tale. The wives used to tell these tales. Not the husbands. They knew what was going on, but the wives, they were spreading all the gossip back in the day. Sorry, I just had to, throw that in. As a feminist.
Okay.
Damn it.
I've been told.
But you know what? I'm crossing the line, right, George? This is what we said. We're going to talk about the animals, not about human rights or all that.
Absolutely.
But, I believe in all of them.
There was a good one here. Someone saying that soy decreases testosterone levels. Oh, hold on. We can answer this first. This is a good one.
Yeah. Well, no. Let's quickly go to the soy one. If that was the case, all men who are vegan would have giant boobs. That's not the case. And hey, I've been eating a lot of soy, and like, you know, there ain't a lot going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't.
There's a funny thing I read.
Bullshit.
Yeah. It was like, if soy really did grow boobs, it would be the #1 selling food on the planet.
Hello, right? So where do people get this idea? It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. But what was the other one that was on the screen there just a second ago?
Oh yeah, damn shit. What was that one a minute ago?
Okay. I don't know. But yeah, here's plants don't feel pain. They don't have a brain. They don't have a nervous system, so it's okay to bite into them. You have a heart. You know where to start. Share this song and be vegan from now on. That's my message to you. You know what people did? You know what, George, listen for 1 sec, okay?
Yeah, go on.
This song that I just sang, right? It was seen by millions, but then it was seen by millions more. Do you know why?
Why?
Here's what all the 12-year-olds did. They stitched it. You know, on TikTok, for those of you who don't know, there's this feature called Stitch. So you could take part of the song out and you can add your own. Well, some 12-year-old thought he was a genius, and he let me sing plants don't feel pain, and he cut it off. And then the kid sang, this chick is on cocaine, and that was it. Okay? That was the whole thing. 5 million people, or more even, saw my side of the story, and then this ridiculous thing accusing me of being a drug addict. Do you know how many people think that I'm on cocaine? Like, seriously. Because they watch this bullshit, and and they actually think that's true. It's just crazy.
The comment that we were on a moment ago, people are reminding us now in the comments section, what is your opinion on the ALF? So the Animal Liberation Front, I support it as a movement. For anyone who doesn't know what the ALF do, they perform direct liberation missions. So they go into vivisection labs and slaughterhouses, and they'll cause financial damage often. So they'll vandalize some of the equipment and stuff like that. And then they'll liberate the animals from those hellholes. And just as if it was a human child being kidnapped, and they need to be liberated. The same goes for a mouse, for a pig, for a monkey having a cruel experiment performed on them without their consent. They deserve to be liberated. And
the example I like to use also is that if you are in a parking lot and it's summer and you see a dog in the back seat, and you see that the dog is just at the window like, I'm dying here, I can't breathe, and the dog is being cooked from the inside. Most people would be like, oh my God, like, we got to help this dog. And they would smash the window and liberate the dog. And I don't think anybody would say anything about it. Everybody would understand that person who left the dog to fry from the inside
That's such a good point. Yeah. The idea, because people say, a lot of non-vegans say, no, but the vandalizing stuff to save animals, that's wrong, blah, blah, blah. But then, great point about they'd smash the window to save a dog, and everyone,
and they'd be a hero.
That.
Everybody.
So that's a fantastic point.
Yeah.
I think you should write like a status about that for sure.
A song.
Or a song. Yeah.
Song about a dog. Oh my God, my notepad is so huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, there's so much inconsistency, and it's so neat. See, you've been an animal rights activist for so long, right? And see, I can come up with a little tidbit and give it to you, and it's like a click, right? But you've already had your 100 clicks. You're vegan. You're like vegan level 1000, right? But it's the same for every time I have a talk with somebody like you or anybody else, I also get more clicks. I mean, it takes 100 clicks to become vegan, but to become a really good animal rights activist is a lifetime of learning, because you need to try to be able to pull out just that argument for just that specific person, or, and also just different levels of people. Like, you're talking to a 10-year-old, you're going to talk differently, like I said, than to somebody who's 60 and has been vegetarian for 30 years and think that they're doing good. Like, you can be a lot tougher on that person. Yeah. So it's never ending learning. It's fascinating.
Miss Katie, let's answer just a few more comments. Then I'm going to have to make a a
I got to pee. God, I keep wondering, when is he going to leave? Jeez, you come over to my house, you hang out forever. All right, go ahead.
Cool.
Anything. Here's that vegan teacher. Must we become vegan? Yes.
I just want to say goodbye to Rebecca as well in the comments. She said, lots of love, George. See you at the pear tree. So we're going to a sanctuary soon. So, yeah, cheers, Rebecca. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Rebecca, for coming.
Must we become vegan? Why? Because oppression, rape, abuse, and murder is wrong. Simple as that.
Yeah. And while we're at it, you must subscribe to this channel. See? Because there's a button. So you have to do it. There's a button down there somewhere. Please subscribe to this channel and also follow George Martin, my guest today, otherwise known as Carnism Debunked. He has some amazing arguments and discussions. And, you know, particularly, George, I think I told you before, but I made a whole video about your intersectional one. I don't know if you ever saw my video, but you had put this thing on, you had put something on Instagram, and I literally took my phone,
yes,
and I filmed the actual Instagram, and I read your entire post.
Consistent anti-oppression.
Because it was so good. No, it's talking about how everybody thinks that they're being properly intersectional or whatever, and everybody can confront each other's argument. And basically the takeaway is just leave all the shit out of there and just talk about the animals. And that was, you know, it's so well thought out. I love your brain. You know,
thank you so much.
You did a great job on that. So thank you everybody again for coming. And I'm actually doing another live this afternoon with somebody whose name is Deep Vegan. This is somebody from, he lives in Sweden. His English is perfect though. And I met on TikTok. The first time I saw him, he was in bed. Because he used to just pick up his phone and film himself and just answer everybody's questions over and over again. It was just the funniest thing. He's great. So hopefully you'll tune in again. That is in about 4 hours or something.
Damn. Better get ready.
Yeah, I got to take a little break and rest my voice. Try not to talk. Every video I say, I got to talk less, but I can't even stop. Okay, so George, you have the final words, okay? You end this.
George has an awesome brain. Thanks so much. And I love your screen name as well. Radically Kind. That's great.
All right. So we say bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. And thank you, Miss Katie, for having me. It's been awesome. Cheers, guys.
Yes.
Be vegan.
Yeah, be vegan. Bye.
Bye-bye.